Okay, I'd like to call the November meeting of the Goochland Planning Commission to order. Madam Clerk, could you confirm that we have a quorum?
Mr. Brewer is absent. All others present. You do have a quorum.
Thank you. I would like to make one quick announcement before we begin with the program, and that is that the Breeze Hill rezoning application has been withdrawn, so that will not be on this evening's agenda. I'll ask everyone to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by the invocation.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, we ask you to watch over us this meeting tonight, that we be mindful of the citizens of this county, and that deliberation be done in fairness to all, in mind that this is a county of citizens and we're here to serve them in accordance with our rules and bylaws. Amen.
Amen. All right, the minutes of our last meeting have been distributed. Does anyone have any changes, additions, or deletions? Is there a motion to accept as submitted?
So move.
I second it.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The minutes are accepted. Madam Clerk? I'd like to open a citizen comment period. This would be for any items, anyone that wants to bring up any issues that are not on this evening's agenda. Please come forward. You'll have 3 minutes. Give your name and address.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the Commission. For the record, my name is Kerry Hutcherson, and I'm here tonight on behalf of the Friends of Shepherdtown Road. That's a group of residents and citizens who are dedicated to the responsible development here in Goochland County that enhances and preserves rural character here. You've probably heard from a number of our folks over the last week or so, and we have a number of petitions, over 200 signatures on a petition that I just gave to the clerk regarding the Breeze Hill application. Now, that's not on the agenda anymore tonight, so I'm addressing you with the public comment period as it's not a matter on the agenda. We also have a great number of our members here tonight. I just want to have them stand so that you can see who came out to show their opposition to the Breeze Hill case. And I'm sure you'll be hearing from others at some point in the future too. In addition to them, y'all can sit down. Thank you. The Friends of Shepherdtown Road, we're very much pleased though that earlier today the applicant withdrew the case, and as you know, that case involved, among other things, a proposed entrance onto Shepherdtown Road to serve the Breeze Hill subdivision, and that's a proposal to which we're strongly opposed. In addition to the number of concerns that we have expressed to all of you, there have been some concerns raised by the conservation community. Both the Virginia Outdoors Foundation, that's a state agency that does land conservation throughout Virginia, and the Capital Region Land Conservancy, they're a private nonprofit land trust that serves the greater Richmond area. They both objected to the proposed entrance to the extent that it encroaches upon the very first open space easement granted here in Virginia. So again, Friends of Shepherdtown Road appreciate the fact that the applicant has withdrawn the case, and we hope that that withdrawal indicates the applicant's intention to address our concerns in any future applications. And we'd like to work with the applicant in the future to direct all subdivision traffic in Breeze Hill to Fairground Road and away from Shepherdtown Road. So I appreciate your time and your consideration of my comments tonight, and I thank you very much, and I look forward to speaking with you in the future.
Indeed. Thank you, Mr. Hutchison. Anyone else? Yeah, I will ask you if you're going to talk about the same subject, that we try not to be repetitive, and if you represent a group, as as I think Mr. Hutchison just did. He was speaking for the entire group. Of course, you're welcome to have your say. I just don't want to have us repeat it many, many times.
Mine is not identical, but it does involve the Shepherdtown Road.
Fine.
What's your pleasure?
Please proceed.
I'll make it really short. My name is Linda Boggs, for the record, and I reside at 1460 Cardwell Road in Crozier.
Thank you.
My specialty has become the comprehensive plan. And so what I'd like to say is I'm going to spend more time studying that. And I'm going to hope that your courage will keep us on the comprehensive plan, specifically the rural aspect and character. Additionally, I had a great lesson when I door knocked down Shepherdtown Road. From the intersection at Cardwell up through what's called Triple Estates, not a single soul, and I encountered almost everyone, was in favor of the exit. So I just want that on the record now, and the petitions probably indicate that. And lastly, I'm very much in favor of the comprehensive plan. It's excellent. I think it's just going to be a matter of sticking to it. I'm not anti-development, but I like your words in the comprehensive. Thank you.
Well said. Thank you. Anyone else?
I'm Beverly Thurston, and I live at 2151 Shepherdtown Road. And I just wanted to go on record again tonight to say that we are not in opposition to the Breeze Hill community. We're in opposition to any traffic coming out on Shepherdtown Road, be that where the developer was indicating on his application that he's withdrawn, or even to Blackwood where there may be some interest. We simply don't want any of that traffic on Shepherdtown Road. Thank you.
Good. Thank you. Anyone else?
Hi, I'm Ellen Pons. I live at, well, my farm's at 2094 Shepherdtown Road. I think I wrote all of you this week. Hopefully you got that. Tonight I want to talk about the rural preservation classification. I've got a little slideshow. And for many of us on Shepherdtown, we live in a rural community. And for me, this is a common scene in Goochland. For you, it might be a tractor going down the road. It might be cattle in your field. It might be hay being farmed, or just kids in a pumpkin patch. I feel like in some instances recently I've seen where the rural preservation classification has slipped. As I understand it, maybe the next slide, or am I the one that can move those? Like I said, the words we use to attract new residents: pastoral, quiet, rural. Can I forward this?
There's a, yep, right there, that'll work.
That, okay, all right. Rural preservation's goal in my mind is, I just drove through Amber Lake development and it was just lovely. There were natural woods, there were houses hidden in the woods. To my dismay, a recent realization is that rural preservation comes with a resource management plan such as this one that I saw for 2007 plan, talking about the bottom line strikes me the most. It's not anticipated that timber harvesting activities will occur, and rather the open space is intended to serve as a natural or landscape buffer. Unfortunately, this is what a property near me is in a state now that 600 acres were deemed rural preservation in 2007. Half of it has been developed. The left half has now been timbered, clear cut, mostly up to about 200 acres of what is left of 300 acres. So how is a house going to fit into this when the last 58 homes is put in? The rural preservation designation has been failed here. And, you know, what was this cannot anywhere be replaced with supplemental plantings. I hope that in the future there is some teeth to violations in rural preservation, because I don't see anything coming out of any conversation I've had. So it's a shame that something that would benefit both the resident and the resident-to-be has not been implemented perfectly. So thank you for your time.
Indeed, thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to come forward?
I'm Judy Shepherd. I live at 1866 Shepherdtown Road. I also wanted to speak to the rural preservation. My husband lived here and was born on this road. He's actually a shepherd. And we visited his family along this road many, many times and decided to come back when we retired because it was a rural preservation place, because I wanted the rural, and to find out that there's this idea that there's going to be a road through that will increase the traffic and take the rural out of Shepherdtown Road is very disturbing. And we also have a traffic problem. Randolph is at the end of Cardwell Road and Shepherdtown, and during pickup and drop-off times, you can't hardly get through there. There's traffic backups. There's already buses coming up and down the road, so that it's not true that this is a road that's not used very much. There's too much traffic already. There's so many curves on this road, about 6 or 7 really big curves, so that it's not safe to have the increased traffic that would happen with this road. Thank you.
Indeed, thank you. Anyone else?
I'm Bill Shepherd. I also live at 1866. I grew up there. My dad built the house. We had from the land, from the timber on the farm. I moved away, lived around Washington, D.C., Baltimore, and ended up in Norfolk, Virginia. And of course, as Judy said, we decided to come back here because we wanted to get away from the congestion and from the traffic. So we are very much in favor of keeping it the way it is. One concern that we have, when I grew up, it was a dirt road. The road today is almost the same as it was then, except that it is paved. There are shoulders, and there are lots of hills and 90-degree turns, many of them. So we're just worried about the safety of anyone traveling on that road at any time. So thank you.
Indeed, thank you. Anyone else? Let me just make one comment, because we are receiving a lot of communications from those little tags as Friends of Shepherdtown Road. So we are receiving a lot of communication, which is a very good thing, and we thank you for it. I, for one, drove Shepherdtown from Cardwell to Maidens and back twice this past week, because I wasn't really that familiar with it. So I think this certainly has our attention, and if and when the case comes back, we will be duly briefed on the pluses and minuses, and we do appreciate very much your input, and we do take it quite seriously. So thank you. And with that, we'll close the citizen comment period. Madam Clerk?
The first item this evening is a tentative plat review. It's for Parkside Village Section 4, application filed by MEPV4 LLC, requesting approval of a tentative subdivision plat for 62-lot age-restricted subdivision.
Yeah, you want to hold on a minute, Greg?
Yeah, I'll wait till the room clears out.
Greg, before you begin, Sarah, I left out asking whether there were any additions, deletions, or changes. And I know we did have one we've already announced. That was the only change.
Yes, sir.
Greg, thank you.
Good evening. This is a tentative subdivision plat approval for Section 4 of Parkside Village. There is no recommendation or action required by the board, and the POD plans and final plats will be administratively approved. Property is located just south of the existing sections of Parkside Village. The property was rezoned recently at the October 2nd, 2018 board meeting. The property condition is to limit the density to 65 age-restricted units. The code permits 2 units per acre by right. This proposal is for 62 age-restricted housing units, which comes out to about 2.16 units per acre. Article 12, Section 9.4 of the zoning ordinance permits an increase in density through environmental incentives, and the applicant is proposing 1% in passive recreation amenities, such as benches, bike racks, etc., 2% in land recontouring, 3% citing buildings and building groupings, and 2% for courtyards, gardens, and patios. This was the conceptual plan that was approved at the rezoning. Point out a few changes that were made. Draw your attention to the 2 lots close to Ashland Road. This straight road here will now have a little jog in it or bend in it for traffic calming, which affected the layout of these lots right there. So this is the proposed tentative plat. Draw your attention to, there's the, oh, didn't mean to do that. There's the sewer easement right there, which impacted those 2 lots. There's this slight jog in the road, which shoved or shifted these lots here. So they relocated one of those lots down here. And those are the biggest changes that you'll see. The applicant is providing right and left turn lanes on Ashland Road. And I will point out that the site is accessed through Park Village Boulevard and Yare, which are right there. The plan is consistent with the approved proffered conditions and appears to meet the subdivision requirements. And should the Planning Commission approve this subdivision plat, tentative subdivision plat, the following conditions are recommended. These are standard conditions that we apply to all tentative plats. Number 1, road plans shall be reviewed and approved by VDOT prior to review of the final plat. Number 2, roads shall be built to state standards prior to review of the final plat. Number 3, road names shall be approved by Goochland County, and the names will be placed on the final plat. Number 4, all water and sewer plans shall be approved by the County Utility Department prior to review of the final plat. Number 5, the applicant shall adhere to all public utility permitting process requirements. Number 6, all utility and drainage easements shall be shown on the final plat. Number 7, the radius turnarounds for all intersections shall be shown on the final plat. Number 8, all dimensions, meets, and bounds of lot lines shall be shown for all lots, and the acreages and square footage shall be provided. Number 9, all notes on the tentative plat shall be placed on the final plat. Number 10, the proffered zoning conditions shall be placed on the final plat. Number 11, the open space shall be clearly labeled and the area identified and the boundaries of the open space shown by meets and bounds. Number 12, the subdivision shall be designed and constructed in accordance with the provisions set forth with the rezoning case RZ 2018 dash, I've got a few too many zeros in there, but it's supposed to be 00002. Number 13, land coverage ratio shall be required with the POD. Number 14, the magisterial district shall be shown on the final plat. And number 15, a landscape and lighting plan shall be provided with this POD. And that concludes my presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Just one clarification. The result of the changes in the layout, Greg, were to go from 65 lots to 62?
Correct.
So with 3 lots fewer than what was
Yes,
was
sir.
approved in the rezoning.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anyone else have any questions? Greg, thank you. I think we have one public hearing case.
Yeah, this is not a public hearing, but we do need a motion and vote.
We do need to vote on this and submit it.
I move we approve it.
And I second it.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The plat is recommended for acceptance.
Mr. Chairman, your first public hearing item this evening and only is a rezoning application RZ 2018-05, an application filed by Bexham LLC requesting a zoning reclassification of 1.525 acres from B2 to RO on tax map number 4222 located at 3041 River Road West. The comprehensive plan designates this area as flexible with residential.
Good evening.
Mr. Garrison?
This is a request to rezone 1.525 acres from business limited to residential office at 3041 River Road West. The site is located in the courthouse district. The site does lie on the west line of River Road West. It's mostly wooded in the back of the property. The site is currently zone B2 with our residential office to the north and to the south, and residential general to the east and to the west. The existing building is approximately 2,400 square feet and has 7 parking spaces that were built for the previous bakery. The applicant is not proposing any modifications to the property or the building footprint, and the applicant would just like to market the property as a residential or office use. That's a picture of the existing structure. The site is currently vacant, has been vacant for a few years, I believe. This is the layout that was provided with the rezoning for the bakery. Shows the parking, the location of the building. A community meeting was held on October 1st, 2018 at the subject property. Staff and board member Mr. Lumpkins attended the meeting. No citizens attended that meeting, and to date, staff has not received any phone calls in opposition to this request. There are no proffers being proposed with this application. And that concludes my presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Any questions for Mr. Garrison? Let me open the public comment period. If there's anyone who would like to come forward to speak in favor or in opposition to this application, please do so.
Would you care to hear from the applicant first if they so choose?
Sorry, thank you.
I don't know whether they would care to, but.
Would the applicant like to make any comments? All right, very good, thank you. I'm sorry for overlooking you, by the way. So we'll reopen it to any, the public hearing. If anyone would like to speak on this case, please come forward. Seeing none, we will close the public hearing. I guess the applicant doesn't have any follow-up since there was nothing to follow up. Very good. Any further comments by staff? Any questions for staff?
No, sir.
Okay, we act on motion, gentlemen.
I move that we approve, or we recommend it for approval.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we recommend approval of the application. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The application is recommended for approval. Madam Clerk, do we have any unfinished business or new business to take up this evening?
No, sir.
Hearing none, the commission shall rise.